Joining me now, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. All right, so Senator, when you see Hillary get gassed like that, what does that tell you?
Well, it's the culmination of, look, it's become a slogan, peace through strength. It actually is real, and it's more real in the Middle East than any other part of the world. But if you look at from the moment Joe Biden takes over, we had this embarrassing, we got run out of Afghanistan. We got run out of there. Even though they knew that that was building, we get run out of there. Then obviously you've got, when Israel was going through its internal fractures, its politics was going on, the perception around the world was clearly that the United States was against Netanyahu and didn't like him, at least under Joe Biden, that was the case. The first thing he did is when he took office is, I want to deal with Iran. The Iranians sense this desperation to get a deal. The Chinese get these mixed messages. You know, on the one hand, they give these press releases and press conferences about being tough. On the other, they're begging to do a climate deal with them and trying to de-escalate and so forth. All of these things, they suggest weakness and they invite adventurism. And it all begins to collapse upon itself. Suddenly, Putin invades Ukraine because he thinks he can win. And he thinks America, if they couldn't even hold the ground in Afghanistan, couldn't even withdraw in an orderly way, that's a green light. Then you have the Hamas assault. Now you have something that's happening. This administration is not leveling with the American people. These attacks against American troops that I warned about 11 days ago were going to happen from these proxies, they know for a fact that Iran is directly behind these attacks. You know why they're behind them? Because they do not believe Joe Biden will do anything about it. And why should they? So these things all begin to compound on itself. And the result is a very dangerous and combustible world. And, you know, when Soleimani, do you remember when Soleimani got hit under the Biden? These people went nuts over here. They were calling it the assassination of Soleimani. You can call it whatever you want, but the IRGC calmed down for quite a bit of period of time. Most people can't even tell you who his replacement is. The reason why they can't tell you who it is, he doesn't necessarily want to be known as
you don't
the
want to be, what was it, the most dangerous job in the world is Al-Qaeda's number 2?
But it's a big
remember,
problem.
Senator, is it a little sleazy to run as a wartime president when, as you said, he invited these wars? The Russia thing didn't have to happen. The Hamas thing didn't have to happen. These things didn't have to happen. And now he's just planting a flag and say, I'm a wartime president. Forget Bidenomics. I'm going to run as a wartime president. Isn't that kind of disgusting?
It's almost like an arsonist running as the world's best firefighter. Right. You know? Of course you're first on the scene. And in this particular case, it's disturbing. And because on top of everything else, look, I know that we internally in our politics talk about the guy falls down some stairs. He says things that don't make any sense. But, you know, they watch that in Iran. They watch that in Beijing. They watch that in Moscow as well. No country, no rational leader has ever gotten into a conflict that they don't believe they can win. And they measure everything. The Iranians would never have ordered those proxies. And again, I want to be very clear that is exactly what is happening here. They would never have ordered that if they believed that they would be directly held responsible and that there was actually any threats of retaliation were credible. They just don't believe it. And why would they?
Yeah, deterrence.
And
listen, you got to run. You